right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Maverick Files. I am your host, Thanasi, and today we found a Santa Cruz. Friend of the channel, Steven, just purchased a limited model, and he offered to bring it to us to get a comparison. The Maverick next to the Santa Cruz. Which one would you like? Which one would you choose, and why? Let's go into the details. We'll take the keys to the Maverick first, and let's do a walk around. But before we get to the video, we need to talk. And yes, I'm gonna do the glasses thing off again because damn it, it gets your attention. The end of the year is approaching, and we are almost at that 2,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't hit that little red button at the bottom of your screen, and yes, I know, I'm up in your face, okay? I'm right here. Consider it. All right, here we have two of the best, well, they're the only compact pickup trucks available today. Now, Hyundai might want you to believe that these trucks do not compete, as they classify the Santa Cruz as a sport activity vehicle, but the fact of the matter is these are two unibody pickup trucks with small beds in the back. But I think that does play to the ethos of these two vehicles being different. The Maverick here, pictured in XLT trim with FX4 package and luxury package, among other things, is the all-arounder pickup truck. It's a less intense design. It's something that's reminiscent of an existing pickup truck in your mind. When you see it, you're not shocked by it. You're not polarized. You know immediately what it's trying to do. It's very easy to get used to the Maverick versus the Santa Cruz, where they definitely took a lot more liberties as they were penning the exterior design of it. Love it or hate it, I personally think the Santa Cruz is aggressive. I personally think the liberties that they took were rewarded. It's a good looking truck, but styling is subjective. You can make up your own mind. I obviously purchased a Maverick, so what does that say? But anyway, one of the features that I love about the Santa Cruz is the fact that the DRLs are integrated into the grille. Having the lights there is really, really nice touch. Hyundai did a really cool move with that design. As we work our way over to the side, let's talk about the engine details of these two vehicles. This Hyundai Santa Cruz, as pictured here, has a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 281 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque, sent through an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. My Maverick is a 2-liter turbocharged, making about 31 horsepower less at 250 and making about 40 torque less at 277. Both of these things are around 4,200 pounds. The Hyundai specifically is 280 pounds heavier than the Maverick, but both of them have relatively similar 0 to 60 times. Thanks to the conventional automatic in the Maverick, it does a better job off the line, but at speed, the Santa Cruz does a good job at blowing it away thanks to the higher horsepower numbers. But you're not buying these things for power. You're buying them because of the functionality of the bed. So let's compare, and let's start with the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Now, the first thing you're going to notice as you open up the tailgate of the Santa Cruz is the fact that it's damped. I harp on this a lot with the Maverick, but you can get it, and you can do it for cheap. It costs $50 as a Ford accessory if you want it on the Maverick, but it comes standard on the Santa Cruz. What also comes standard on the Santa Cruz, if you get a limited trim, is this tonneau cover. It's optional on the other trims. It is a royal pain in the butt to remove, but its functionality is really, really cool, and I do like how Hyundai integrated it. You have sliding rails on both sides, 2 bed lights and a 110, and plenty of mounting points for straps. And the piece de resistance of the Santa Cruz is this trunk. The current owner, Steven, uses this to put emergency essentials. You can see a shoebox in there, which is kind of a good gauge of depth. It isn't as deep as the Ridgeline, but the functionality of the trunk is really nice. Yank that rope, and it just locks right into place, which is super nice. I love how well integrated that is to the overall design of the bed. As we make our way to the Maverick, you can see there's a lot of similarities here, okay? We have rails on both sides, just like the Santa Cruz. We have a plug, just like the Santa Cruz. We have one bed light, though, where the Santa Cruz has 2, and we don't have a trunk. So you can see some of the cost differences and cost-cutting measures Ford took in the Maverick versus Hyundai in the Santa Cruz. Again, there's about $4,000 to $5,000 difference in base between these trucks. Moving into the interior, the Limited is certainly premium. Again, this truck is close to $40,000, which, by the way, is about $2,000 off a fully loaded Maverick Lariat. So the price difference isn't as much as you would think. Now, I know you can get a Maverick for a lot cheaper. We all know how much I paid for my Maverick with a sticker price of $32,000, but the fact of the matter is the top-of-the-line models are actually really close. Get into a Santa Cruz and you are instantly greeted by a brilliantly bright and responsive responsive LCD screen. Look how snappy it is as I'm changing through modes. It's instant, it's clear, it's direct, and there certainly is a different image for each of these modes for both the speedometer and the tachometer, and I really love that. In the Ford, we don't really get that. We just get cool graphics. That's about it. You're also greeted with a larger infotainment screen that works really well and tons of haptic buttons, which kind of suck, but you get heated seats and you get cooled seats and you get a heated steering wheel. Cooled seats, by the way, not available in the Maverick regardless of trim. Now, as you're sitting in the front, you are definitely greeted by the fact that there is a lot more room in here. You're talking about 2.7 inches more headroom in the front of the Santa Cruz versus the Maverick, and you feel it. This thing feels very roomy. You also feel more back in the overall car than the Maverick. Love the sunroof here, similar size to the Maverick overall, but to summarize, front place is a very luxurious place to be. This definitely warrants the price tag it has with the materials and the things that are offered here. Now, as we get to the rear seat, one of the biggest differences you'll find is the door card. Okay, there's no fancy water bottle feature here like there is with the Maverick, and because of that, they were able to put the door speaker there, because if we go over to the Maverick, because it has the door card that allows for a funky water bottle, you're greeted with a speaker that is right next to your ears, and we talked about how you are affected by that if you are a rear passenger in the Maverick. But let's get into the Santa Cruz and see really the size differences. So I'm sitting behind myself, and I got a little less legroom than the Maverick, but I have a little more headroom than the Maverick, and that is thanks to this big bump out that Hyundai put into the Santa Cruz. There's about 0.6 inches more rear headroom than there is in the Maverick. You have two vents there, one for each rear passenger, which is really nice. A couple USB chargers underneath for phones, also really nice. No armrest, which is very strange, and a manual rear window, just like you get on an XLT. The last thing we're going to touch on before we do a summary is the payload number of 1411 is about 90 pounds more than my Maverick in the trim that I have it. So, as we walk around these vehicles for one last time, what did I think about the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and how does it stack up to the Ford Maverick? Well, the fact of the matter is both of these are really good machines. The Hyundai Santa Cruz is a complete package, and the Ford Maverick is also a complete package. And I am stoked that small trucks are back and that we have two options that are very good in their own right. Hyundai and Ford are revitalizing a segment that has long been dormant, and I couldn't be more ecstatic. What the Maverick offers, the Hyundai offers too, but it does it in a slightly different way. The Hyundai Santa Cruz buyer is one that is more accustomed to a more premium SUV and just wants the functionality of a bed. The Maverick buyer is someone that wants and values practicality, values features, values efficiency, and values price. You can get a lot in the Maverick. You can get the top engine in the base trim, something you cannot do in the Santa Cruz. The Maverick takes less risks. The Maverick takes less chances, and that's a good thing. It's good that the ethos of both of these trucks exists. The Maverick is very approachable versus the Santa Cruz, which has a slight learning curve, but it rewards you for it with the features that are available. And both of these trucks also drive slightly different. The Maverick is a comfier, plushier ride akin to something that you would get in an F-150 or another traditional pickup truck or even SUV. The Santa Cruz, on the other hand, drives more like a sedan, and because of that, it's a bit sportier in its intention. So even though when we get into my Maverick here and we're greeted with a nice screen, we're greeted with a nice wheel, sure, we have some hard plastics, but there's so much value for that $32,000 price tag, and you can get it even cheaper. So at the end of the day, I love both of these machines because they appeal to a fundamentally different buyer, and you truly can't go wrong with either option. But let me know in the comments which one you guys pick. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Maverick Files.